Hats off to entrepreneurs. You bring value to our community by creating jobs and building wealth. Aspire Enterprise of Florida is your premier one-stop resource for strategic business coaching, business trainings, and business services. Our elite team of business professionals have over 30 years of expertise to serve small business owners, not-for-profit organizations, and individuals. Aspire Enterprise, where your needs are our priority.
Hi, Palm Bay. I'm Medina, your candidate for mayor. With your support, when elected, we will immediately move forward to take the necessary actions to restore transparency, to restore accountability, responsibility, and the respect of our beloved city. It's evident through recent audit findings and oversights meeting in Tallahassee that our city has engaged in financial decisions that clearly have put our citizens and our financial stability at risk. The headlines of our city once promoted a city that cares, finalists for a City of the Year, and a community with a great future. Now, today, the headlines promote our city as one with escalating crime, an interchange to nowhere, mismanagement, state-imposed audits, and playgrounds closing due to equipment being unsafe. We must stop this downward spiral of our once financial secured, beautiful community. We drive through flooded roads, potholes, and traffic jams. I pledge to you as your next mayor, I will shine light on these past budgets along with the poor decisions made so we can get the answers our citizens deserve and our state leaders demand. I encourage a forensic audit of all our city operations so we can bring all these things to light. This process will not be easy, but our future and that of our children depend on each and every one of us, ensuring accountability, ensuring professionalism, immediately replacing finger pointing, mismanagement, the rubber stamp process that brought this audit upon us. There are many serious questions. The business and residents of our cities deserve a government that they can trust and believe in. It is important to address these issues head on, for they've made a target of ridicule and skepticism from our surrounding neighbors and our very own residents. This will require strong leadership, transparent and sensible policy decisions, and constant commitment to ethical conduct. As mayor, my first goal will be to restore trust in our government. Government for the people, by the people. This is truly an opportunity for leadership by example. And as your mayor, I'll pledge to you that if I vote to approve a contract with a company to do business with our city, I will prohibit myself from receiving any future campaign funds from that said company. And I will encourage our council members to do the same. I believe as elected officials, we're held to a higher standard. The citizens of Palm Bay will be my only priority. We will address the many concerns of the finding of the state audit and encourage the open participation of our residents to provide oversight in our budget process. Hashtag the public trust. For a better Palm Bay, elect Medina. May God bless you. May God continue to bless this great city we call Palm Bay. Hoorah! Hoorah!
Hello, Palm Bay. Randy Foster, candidate for Palm Bay City Council Seat 3. This political advertisement is approved and paid for by Randy Foster, candidate for Palm Bay City Council Seat 3. Public safety is important. As a councilman, that should be the number one priority when you come in office, public safety. And the people who provide that safety, who serve and protect, is Palm Bay Police Department and Palm Bay Fire Department. I went through a 2-hour process for each interview for an endorsement with Palm Bay Police and the Fire Department. The Palm Bay Fraternal Order Police, Lodge 111, endorsed me. Also, Palm Bay Fire Department endorsed me for the City Council Seat 3. My opponent decided not to go in front of them. He decided to go to the Space Coast Association of Realtors. Has nothing to do with public safety, and none of them probably works in Palm Bay. But I would have took the time out if I was him. And here are the men and women that serve and protect and keep you safe at home. So remember this when you go to the polls in November. If your brother, your sister, your uncle, your father, your cousin, your friend is a police officer in Palm Bay or a fighter, my opponent don't care what they're going through as a candidate running for office. I do. That's why they endorse me. Thank you, Palm Bay. And remember, I'm the only one with law enforcement experience and a history of providing safety throughout the public throughout these United States. Vote randyfoster.com. Vote for Randy Foster, a true leader. Thank you.
Who am I? I'm someone that believes in community and that dedicates hundreds of hours every year to serving the people of Brevard. Who am I? I'm a scholar that supports and believes in education, that donates countless dollars and hours to helping scholars learn, grow, and be better for our future. Who am I? I'm an advocate that stands up for those who can't stand up for themselves and that protects and defends the Constitution every single day. I'm Alton Edmond, and I'm running for Brevard County Sheriff. It's time for change.
For nearly 60 years, most politicians running for office in Palm Bay promised to fix the city's failing roads. In 2017, armed with a plan, Thomas Gaume and a small team of residents set out to accomplish this enormous task.
The need for alternate paths that are smoother than the roads, and the term grassfault will soon be a distant memory.
Tom believes in duplicating success. He started by visiting Northport, Florida, a GDC community exactly half the size of Palm Bay. Northport successfully fixed their roads with a road bond referendum, and Tom made several trips to Northport to fully understand the process.
In the 2018 election, 66% of Palm Bay voters approved a $150 million bond referendum. Now we're turning our failed roads into an economic engine to diversify our tax base and lure commercial businesses,
while at the same time looking out for the environment and the delicate ecosystem we call home.
That's what sets Thomas Gaume apart. He solves problems by creating teams of citizens to conquer even the most difficult issues. You might say that Tom is the man with a plan. Vote Thomas Gaume for Palm Bay City Council Seat 3 on November 3rd. For your family, your property, and our future.
Approved and paid for by Thomas Gaume for Palm Bay City Council Seat 3 in Artisan.
Hello, Palm Bay. I am Kay Mirage, and I'm running to be your next mayor. I currently sit on the Planning and Zoning Board, as well as our Community Development Advisory Board. I'm a mom, I'm a small business owner, and I've been married to my husband, Lynn Volk, for 19 years. And together we have an amazing 17-year-old son who's about to head off to college. Palm Bay needs fresh, bold leadership, one who is an embracer of change, diversity, and inclusion, who is proactive and thinks outside the box. They need to be free from conflicts of interest and owes no favors to the who's who. Our next mayor should be informed and have a true understanding of the issues and be ready with plans to help solve them. They must be open to have dialogue with you and empathize with your concerns. I am that leader. I'm ready to work with council to earn back public trust, bring transparency and accountability to all levels of city government. I am your voice, and I'm that unifying force that is ready to guide our city towards smart growth and a very successful future. For more information, visit palmbayk.com. Vote K Mirage for Palm Bay Mayor. K is the right choice for Palm Bay. I'm K Mirage, and I approve this message.
Hello, Palm Bay. Welcome to another edition of Palm Bay in the News. The City of Palm Bay would like to remind residents that on October 1st, Republic Services will take over trash and recyclable services here in the City of Palm Bay. A postcard was sent out to each resident home with your new schedule. On October 1st, residents can call 321-989 6030 to ask any questions about your new services. Attention realtors, we would like to feature your listing or your services in a new show set to premiere in the upcoming weeks. Please contact Kevin at palmbaylive.com for further information. Voters are reminded that the final date to register to vote is Monday, October 5th. For more information, visit votebrevard.com. Here are some upcoming events for the month of October. Thanks for watching Palm Bay in the News. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have yourself a good day. Palm Bay and our surrounding communities, I would like to thank you for your tremendous support. As we move into the fall months, Palm Bay Live is seeking your support so we can continue to deliver valuable programming. Your monetary donations will help us so we can achieve those goals. You can donate online at www.palmbaylive.com. Advertisers are also welcome. Palm Bay Live is a non-profit organization. Thank you for your continued support. Hi, good evening, Palm Bay. Welcome to the edition of Palm Bay Live. And with me tonight, we have Mr. Randy Foster in his home studios. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Okay, welcome back. We know we had a debate on Monday, and you're back for your line of questioning. And Palm Bay, this is going to be our final council's interview for the city of Palm Bay. Next week, we will kick off another set of interview. We'll be interviewing Mayor Capote on October 8th. That is going to be my next live session, October 8th at 8 p.m. Please send me your questions ahead of time. If you could, please send me your questions by at least Sunday afternoon so I can have them prepared. Busy week ahead for me work-wise, so I need to have those questions ahead of time. So if you could send them to me by Sunday, the latest, palmbaylive@gmail.com. That's the email address to send them to, palmbaylive@gmail.com. That will be appreciated. So any questions you have for Mayor Capote, please send them by Sunday. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Foster, welcome to the show again. And please introduce yourself for the audience who are seeing you for the first time, and tell us why you're running for Palm Bay City Council Seat 3.
My name is Randy Foster. I'm a candidate for Palm Bay County Seat 3. And I'm running for, one, to restore integrity back to this seat, Seat 3. And the second reason I'm running, because I care. I care about you. I care about your family. I care about your business. And I care about Palm Bay as a city. I want to see this city grow. I want to see this city develop into the best city in the state of Florida and the best city in the Brevard County. We have so much potential and so much things that could develop in this city. It's a shame that you live in Palm Bay, but you got to shop in Melbourne or West Melbourne because we don't have no commercial business. This is something I want to focus on. It's a shame that our roads are failing. We don't have no lights, fixtures. Our water, we have a problem with our water, sewer, a lagoon. These are things, infrastructure. Our fire department is short of fire station. Police officers are short, don't have enough police patrol cars or up-to-date patrol cars. Infrastructure is important, and I'm going to focus on that as your next city councilman. But the number one thing is public safety. Public safety is number one. We are in Hurricane Alley, okay? And we need to have disaster preparedness plan. We need to have a emergency response team. We need to not only prepare for disaster, but any disaster could come, terrorist attack or a mass shooting, or somebody kids getting snatched up and you got an Amber Alert. We have the technology. Public security is important. Public safety is the same. We have the technology to prevent a lot of stuff. And I got some great ideas how to do that. And to make my ideas go forward, you need the right council person to push that and get the other council members to go along with that. So, and the third thing, I want to protect your tax dollars. We need to have things that we could save money in our budget, prevent fraud, waste, and abuse, but also have the right budget and fund the right programs to move the city forward. So these are some of the ideas. I got a strong background in law enforcement, military, and also in the private business, working for Marriott. Also, I'm a small business owner in Palm Bay. So I lived in different places. I grew up in New York. I got a different perspective and different outlook of what government should look like and what a city should be and the potential of cities should be. So thank you, Palm Bay.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. You answered my second question, so that's good. So we can move along to my third question. You list your top 3 proposals. So let's dive into some issues. My next line of question has to do with City Hall integrity. You talk about the importance of integrity in the city government. Your website specifically says if you don't have integrity, you have nothing. You can't buy it. So what does integrity mean to you, sir?
Well, integrity means transparency, honesty, above board. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard. And I've been held to a high standard when I was Air Force military personnel, because I had to have a top secret clearance. And the U.S. Marshal, I had a top secret clearance. They don't issue secret clearance just to anyone. You go through a rigorous background check, and everything is looked at. When I was Federal Air Marshal in Homeland Security, I had a top secret clearance, one of the highest. So, but in the city council, when you run for city council, you don't go through no top secret clearance. You don't even go through a background check. Some things we need to change. Florida got an ethics laws, but it's weak. And I challenged it when I filed a complaint against one of the city councilmen. He walked off the dais and he got paid the rest of the night, and he wasn't even doing city business. So I have some ideas what we could do to make sure that.
And that's my follow-up question, sir. How will you restore it? That's going to be.
Restore it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. How will you restore it?
I would restore it by 1, setting an example. 2, for this seat. Okay. 2, I will put policies and procedure in place. Working with the city attorney, looking at what the state is, because we are elected officials. Okay. I'm talking about the city council. That's what I'm talking about, not the city government. Okay. I'm going to get to the city government part next. But as a city councilman, the people who sit on that dais, we need to have certain policies and procedure. When you violate that, you need to be censored or you need to be removed. Okay. And that you got to look into the political laws of elected officials. The city attorney can advise me more. But this is where I'm going with that. Policies and procedure. You know, our city council was under FBI and FDLE investigation. And once you're under investigation, you can't make certain comments, especially as a criminal investigation. Anything you could say, anything you said can be used against you in a court of law, or you might have to testify for what you said. So I get that why they couldn't say things. So we need to have a policy and a procedure. If you're under investigation, if you break the law, you might need to be removed from the city council or you might be sensitive. Okay, you might be sensitive. That's going to be determined in a workshop with me and my fellow city councilmen. But I'm going to bring forward my ideals where we need to go with that. And we need to either make it in a charter, or it could be an ordinance, or it could be a policy and a procedure, whichever best fits. But I want to get the new council to go along with that, to agree that we're going to hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Okay, so you answered a couple of my other questions. Let's move on to some particulars. There have been questions about your integrity, particularly related to the 2016 election for seat 3 of the Brevard County. You remember that? Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes.
Okay, so Alcee Hastings endorsed you, and he said you could learn a lot from him. Hastings is one of the 15 federal judges that have been impeached due to a conspiracy and obstruction of justice. There have also been allegations about sexual misconduct surrounding him. Some could say he lacked integrity. How do you feel about his endorsement now?
Well, Representative Allen Hastings is a congressman. He's been a politician in Florida for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What you're referring to was an interview that I was doing with Space Coast Channel. Okay. And it was during that interview, Hastings said Randy is a good person for Brevard County. That's what he said. People like Randy Foster should be elected in so many words.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on the spot endorsement. He didn't write me a letter. He didn't write a letter like the Palm Bay police. So, and I said, yeah, if I could be a good as politician, I didn't say judge. I said politician. Go back and watch the video. It's on YouTube. I said, if I could be a good as politician as Mr. Hastings, then I have a long career. That's what I said. And no, if I welcome that endorsement, because it doesn't do nothing to impede my integrity. Unlike my opponent, who has a criminal record, he hasn't worked for the Department of Justice. You just don't walk up and put an application in the Department of Justice and get hired. You just don't walk up and put an application in Homeland Security and get hired as a federal air marshal, as a U.S. Marshal. And prior to that, I was a police officer and I served in the military.
Okay, so you answered my question in regards to, because I was going to ask you a follow-up as to why you didn't denounce it, but you told me you pretty much embraced it instead.
Well, can I follow up, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
He's a U.S. congressman. He got elected by the citizens of Florida. Did they think his ethics was questionable? He was a federal judge appointed by Bill Clinton. He passed a FBI background. He made a mistake. He did something wrong. And the Senate didn't. It wasn't a criminal conviction. The Senate. Well, I'm not going to defend Al Hastings. I'm going to stop right there. But what I'm saying, I welcome a congressman endorsement at any time.
Okay. All right. So we'll keep it moving. I also discovered that you were also fined $750 due to inaccuracies on some financial disclosure documents. Can you opine on that? Talk about how that happened and why it happened.
Oh, well, it came about that I misunderstood what I was filling out. It's Form 6, and I made a mistake on it. And I filed it, and I didn't catch the mistake. And the county, Brevard County Supervisor election, didn't catch it either. And some troll supporter of John Tobias didn't live in Brevard County, lived in Orlando, and went through all the candidates who was running for the race in 2016. And he had filed complaints, not just me, but it was other candidates on errors that they made in their financial form. That was the first time I run in, and I didn't fully understood the proper. And that financial form asks you about your assets, your assets, your how much your assets is worth. And I put down my retirement. And the person didn't believe that I have such a good retirement from the federal government. And he filed a complaint. Okay. And I listed my property, my couch, my table, my TV. They ask you all of that. And I put that down. But I filled it out incorrectly. So he filed a complaint, and the person didn't show up to the hearing that they had in Tallahassee, because it's go before a committee. So it wasn't no ethics violation. It wasn't no not disclosing my financial background or anything like that. Because the only thing my only financial background was my retirement. And so they had to investigate it. And the person who made the complaint because he didn't want to show up. So I admitted, I filled out the form incorrectly, and it's a fine to do that. So they fined me. And the fine was a lot more, and they reduced it because they know that it was much to do about nothing.
All right. I have another question. I recently discovered this. Do you know of the Plantation Circle debacle? What's going on with Plantation Circle?
No, fill me in on it.
The Plantation Circle situation that's happening, where a landowner is trying to make a piece of parcel of land commercial, and the residents are opposed to it.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. I'm familiar.
All right.
I'm familiar with that. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So, the discovery that I made was that you collected a donation from that developer. Do you realize that? You got a donation from that developer, that said developer that is trying to, he has a situation in front of council right now. So what I'm trying to ascertain is, with you collecting that donation from that developer, how is it that you're going to move forward to make sure that that doesn't jeopardize how you're going to vote if it comes to you if you're sitting on that dais, how you will vote in the future?
Well, I've said this so many times. When I make my decision, it's what's best for Palm Bay. That's how I'm going to vote all the time. What's best for Palm Bay, and what's best to protect the taxpayer money. That's how I'm going to approach my decision. If it's not good for Palm Bay, and Palm Bay, when I say Palm Bay, all of Palm Bay, and protecting people's rights, because you talked about the developer, and the developer has property on Babcock in that Plantation Circle. So do the residents. So I didn't do the zoning. I'm not on the zoning board, and I don't have all the facts in front of me. So I can't tell you which way I'm leaning or whatever. I don't have all the facts. I wasn't briefing everything. I just know very little, like I said at the beginning. But when I make a decision, it's what's best for Palm Bay.
Okay. All right. Well, it goes back to the integrity portion, but yeah, we're just trying to ascertain whether or not it's gonna, make you lean a certain way when it comes to that vote if you're sitting on the dais.
Let me make myself perfectly clear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do things because of money. I don't have to run for this race because of money. Money is not an issue to me. Okay, so I get support by a lot of people who got a lot of money, but that's not going to make my decision. When I said integrity, I've been an officer, and I had criminals try to bribe me. Did I turn my back? No, I arrested them. I do what I could because of justice, what's right. That's the difference for me and other politicians, different for me and my opponent. I've been tested many times throughout my career, throughout a 28-year career in government when it comes to integrity. So somebody donating to my campaign doesn't sway me in the decision I make. That's what's right for the people and what's right for Palm Bay. That's why I keep telling you I do what's best for Palm Bay.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to infrastructure. You talk about that. So you believe that infrastructure is the #1 problem in Palm Bay? What does a strong city infrastructure look like to you?
Well, first of all, just fixing the roads is a start, but it's not the be all, the end all. You know, a strong infrastructure to me is good roads, good lighting, what's going to protect people from floods, hurricanes, and also that's going to attract business, you know, manufacturing and commercial business that want to come here because we have roads, lighting, water, and police and fire. A strong infrastructure is going to build our city for the future. So, and you got to plan it. It's good planning and good zoning.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about community engagement. I mean, we dealt with the infrastructure a lot in the debates, so I'm not going to pound you with a lot of questions in regards to that. Folks can go back and watch the debate to get some more insight on how your take on infrastructure is. Community engagement. You talk about engaging the community more in the local political atmosphere by implementing community forums and town halls. Why is community engagement important to you?
It's because the government of Palm Bay belongs to the community. It's part of the community. You elect councilmen and councilwomen on the dais in the city hall. We don't get there by accident. We just don't show up and put an application in. The community votes them in. They have a say. And a council person works for the community, works for the residents, whether they voted or not. They still work for them. Okay. So you have to be beholden to what's going on in the community. And one community might be hurting and the other community might be thriving. You want everybody to be lifted up together at the same time. So, and everybody have different needs. Every community have different needs, different parts of the city. And if you're not engaged in that, how's your city progressing? How's your government is serving the people? I have many years of service into this country and public service. Okay, I know how to serve, and I have served. So, and I have engaged in the community. I was a police officer. I was involved in community policing, and the police department got away from that. Now they're coming back to it, and that's the most important thing you could do. Neighborhood watch, community policing, nonprofit organization, events, festivals. Just listening could solve a lot of problems. So that's what I'm intended to do. Be engaged 24/7 and being very accessible to Palm Bay communities.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. What type of community forums do you see happening in the city? I mean, while you're engaging, what type of forums do you know, how will this happen with COVID and everything?
Well, I don't think COVID's going to be around forever. And we cannot stop living because of COVID. But we got to be smart about it. We got to follow the CDC guidelines, such as this interview right now. Okay, we're not in the same location, but we still could do it. Technology has allowed us to do so many things. I didn't have this when I was 16 years old. I never dreamed that I could talk to somebody on a computer across the city when I was 16, 15, 12 years old. Technology is evolving. Medicine is evolving. We have to use what we have to move forward. We cannot just say COVID-19, we can't do it. City council is still holding meetings. We still having people come in City Hall sitting apart. So what I see happening is more meetings like this. A councilman could, and the city government should help the council members do more town hall by Zoom. So people don't have to travel. They can sit at their living room and engage the councilman.
Okay. So that answers that question about elected. I was going to ask you a follow-up question on how you will make yourself more accessible to constituents, but I think you answered that pretty much in that summary. As a retired member of the military, what will you do to bring more support and resources to our community of veterans?
Well, that's a great question, Kevin. I love the military. I love all veterans. Okay. And I want to, we have a community full of veterans, and we're not using that as much as we should. Veterans could bring a lot of insight, and they still want to serve. A lot of veterans still. That's why we got VFWs, American Legion. I'm American Legion member. And we need to tap into that resource. So on my website, I talk about having a VSO, Veteran Service Officer, in City Hall. And a Veteran Service Officer helps veterans navigate through the VA and get their benefits. Okay, a lot of veterans don't apply for benefits. And these are benefits that they deserve. And these benefits could bring actually money into their pocket, money that would be spent right here in Palm Bay. So I want to do it. I want to get a Veteran Service Officer in City Hall, so veterans know that they could come to the City Hall and get help. You don't have to drive all the way to Viera to get help. Also, the VA is going to have a clinic on Babcock. It's going to open soon. So that's going to be a good thing. I want to have a, if it's possible, a Veteran Advisory Board. We got a Library Advisory Board. We got a Parks and Rec Advisory Board. We have a city full of veterans. I want an advisory board to bring veterans together and come up with ideas how the city can help them and their families. Because a veteran, a person who receives veteran benefits, their family benefits from them benefits also. So let's focus on that and serve our veterans, and you're serving the community in Palm Bay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Let's go to public safety. Can you talk about your idea of community policing? How is it this key to addressing crime?
Well, crime, you have certain areas where crime is going wild, and you have to have police on the ground talking to the residents there. You got to have organized neighborhood watch in areas where crime is happening. But let me. A lot of people don't understand crime. I understand it a little bit different than most because I combated it. I fought it as an officer and as a U.S. Marshal. Crime is everywhere. You might be in a gated community and your neighbor might be selling drugs out their house. You don't even know it. Or it might be a fugitive, a murderer to you change their identity. Or it might be a witness, somebody in the witness security program. I know a little about that, living right next to you, and it was a mobster in the Italian mafia. You wouldn't even know what's going on. So, but to answer your question, community policing is an officer getting out their car and going up to a group of kids or a knocking on doors. Hey, I'm Officer so-and-so. I patrol this area. If you haven't have any issues, here go my card. Give me a call. Okay. Or here go my email to you. Have to reach the residents one-on-one and personally, because they could tell you who's doing what, who's selling drugs, who's doing something illegal. They won't say it out in the open, but they might send you a text. They might send you an email. One thing I like to see done is Crime Stoppers. You ever heard of Crime Stopper?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're supported by not the government. The local government supply the officer, but local business put their money together and offers reward for murderers or somebody being murdered, a reward or a robbery or a break-in. And it solves a lot of crime because money is a good motivator on telling on people. So a Crime Stopper program, I would like to, and that's going to be someone such as myself to encourage local business to get involved.
What type of security technologies will you employ to keep Palm Bay safe?
Oh, we got a lot of technologies out there. The police imaging, face imaging is one the police could use. Security cameras. Let me give you an example. Park and Rec. Someone drop off their 14-year-old kid to play basketball, and they come back and pick him up, and he's not there no more. We don't know where to start because no cameras are watching what's in and active. Anybody could walk into any community center, and we don't have a recording of it. So I'm talking about security cameras for Parks and Rec, security cameras in security station in the city hall. You could walk in City Hall and don't go through any metal detector. You can make your way right up to the mayor's office and no one checks you, no one stops you. You could go in it's no bulletproof glass. We have to think about mass shootings. It happened here in Florida. It happened across the United States, and it's going to continue to happen, unfortunately. But we have to make the targets where people gather or people visit a lot tougher and fortify. I'm not talking about looking. Let me give you an example. The bank. You could go into a bank and TD Bank, and it's more secure than City Hall. They got bulletproof glass up there. They got cameras. That's why banks don't get robbed anymore, because they got security devices. So we need to think differently. We need to think differently. And to get these things costs money. I want to look at grants. I want to look at grants and have people invest in those things into community. A lot of business people will invest in something that that's going to be benefit for the community, as long as they get some type of advertisement offered. So these are the technologies that I want to look at: security image, security cameras in parks, making our city hall a lot more safer for our residents that works in there, our city workers, our residents that go in there, and our city workers that works in there. I want to make sure that they're safe at work. I want to make sure that the people in Parks and Recs, the workers there, are safe and no one walks in there and do a mass shooting. I want to make sure our kids are safe walking home from school, where the police have these towers. Have you see these towers they have? You could put cameras in there and you could record things and have a feedback and have that monitored. So it's a lot of technology out there that we could use to make our community safe. Do we have that problem here? No, but it can happen anytime, anywhere.
Okay. And paying for this would come from what? Grants, you said?
I would look at grants. I would look at business. And if the city's going to have to spend some resources, but I want to make sure that's very minimal. But I think we could get it if you have someone who's an advocate of it, like me, and then have the background. I think I could convince business to do a lot. I mentioned the Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers all over. Look at Google Crime Stoppers. It's all over cities in this country. And you know who support that? Business support that. Business support that because they want to give back to the community. And public safety, security, business will support that too. And I will work hard to make that happen. Government shouldn't pay for everything.
Okay. All right. Straightforward. I think I've asked you this before, but it keeps coming up. So should we defund the police? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
You shouldn't fund the police. I have over 28 years in law enforcement, police officer, U.S. Marshal. I wouldn't do it. When I was an officer, I didn't have the equipment I need to get my job done. We barely had bulletproof vests. I didn't have body cameras. These officers are dealing with a lot more sophisticated criminals, and they need things to combat crimes. When I was a police officer, I didn't have computers in my cars. If you defund the police, you can't have a laptop. They can access information a lot quicker now when I was a police officer back in the 90s. So the police endorsed me. The police, Fraternal Order Police Lodge, Palm Bay Fraternal Order Police Lodge 111 endorsed me. And they wouldn't endorse me if I was for defunding the police. So people could put that rumor out there. It doesn't stick with a retired law enforcement officer. We need our police officers. Our police officers are not getting a good image on TV by the media, and they got the toughest job in America. And they need the best equipment, and they need enough officers to respond to a situation where their life is on the line. And I'm willing to fund them fully.
All right. So, in essence, what policies will you ensure, will you take on or establish to ensure public safety?
Well, number one, we have to fund our fire department. You know, unlike my opponent, I sat down with the firefighters and had a 2-hour interview, and they unloaded on me. They let me know how they felt, how they've been treated, and the equipment that they don't have is scary. Their response time. We don't want a fire truck to get to your house or for a medical emergency or a fire, 10 minutes. It takes them 10 minutes to get there. We need, and when they get there, they only have 2 guys that come off the truck. A councilman, they have a 4-man truck. A councilman say, oh no, you could do it with 3. Teamwork in firefighting is important. So you got to fund, you can't have no vacancies on the fire department. You got to fund that immediately. Just like the police department, you got to fund their vacancies, okay? I want to make sure we have a fire station, we're down 1 fire station, and every fire station is fully funded, okay? Just like the police. So I'm gonna fight for that. I'm gonna fight to get a ladder truck. We don't have a ladder truck. We have to borrow Melbourne or West Melbourne. We don't have a ladder truck. We don't have, skyscrapers here, but we do have apartment complex. And if somebody's stuck on a 3rd floor or fire is raging, how are you going to save them? So that's the public safety. We have trucks. During the last time we had a hurricane, the trucks stopped running. Mm-hmm. Their vehicles not getting repaired. when you have a car accident, when your house is on fire, or you have a medical emergency, the only person coming to save you is a fireman. They get there quick and they do a good job. And so I'm going to fight for the fire department. I'm going to fight for the police department. And I want to help create a emergency response prepared team. What I'm talking about? I spent a week in New Orleans during Katrina, help saving over 3,000 people. And Katrina was a failure of local government. It was a failure of local government. And we still don't know how many people died in New Orleans because of Katrina. You never hear about that number. You hear about 9/11, but you never hear about Katrina because it was a failure of local government. I don't want to ever see that again. And I don't want this city hit with a major hurricane and we end up like Katrina, okay, in New Orleans. So we need to have a emergency coordinator. The county has one, and he's concerned about the county, but Palm Bay doesn't have one. It shouldn't be the fire chief and it shouldn't be the police chief. They got their job to do during a hurricane.
All right, let's move on to another question for you. Do you believe our city responded did they responded effectively rather to the COVID-19 situation, to the pandemic? Do you think that everything was lined up properly, communication was flowing? Do you think the city responded effectively?
I think at the beginning they did not. I think they missed they missed the boat, so to speak. I think they got it together now, but at the beginning they didn't. And on my website, voterandyfoster.com, I have a video. Did you watch that video, Kevin?
I think I did sometime back.
Yeah. I came back I returned back into the country. And the country I left, I was on vacation. I was in the Dominican Republic. The country I left took COVID-19 serious. When I landed, and I'm going to tell this quick story. When I landed in Dominican Republic and I was going through customs, everybody had on a mask. And I was shocked. I'm like, what's going on? Because everybody got off the plane, didn't have a mask on. Everybody had on a mask. Everybody had on gloves. This was back in February 2020. February 2020. I went through the customs. They checked me for COVID-19. They asked me all the questions that we're getting asked right now. You have a fever? Have you traveled to a foreign country? Have you had a cough? Things like that. And I was shocked because I was watching the news, but I didn't know a country like the Dominican Republic was more prepared than the United States. And as I stayed there for a week, I kept my eyes on the news and I was doing research about COVID-19. When I came back, same procedures, mask, gloves, temperature check. I went through U.S. Customs. They started asking me in Orlando about COVID-19 question. I came back, I went to the city council, and I tried to warn them what was coming. And the council looked at me like I was a ghost. I said, you gotta prepare for COVID-19. This country, United States, has failed us. And we had no death in Brevard County. We had no death in Palm Bay. Watch the video. I told them, prepare. You gotta protect our fires because they're gonna be exposed to COVID-19. You gotta protect our police officers, and you gotta protect our city workers. It took them over a month to start putting it in place. The CDC guidelines was already out. I was told after I said that speech, after I gave my public comment, I was told to go to a website. I didn't need to go to the website because apparently they wasn't listening. I already experienced it. So no, they didn't respond. If they would have listened to my comment and followed the guidelines of the CDC immediately, we could have saved a lot more people were not getting infected, and we could have saved possibly some lives.
Okay. All right, sir, I'm going to move away from public safety, and we're going to talk about affordable housing. All right. What is your plan to create affordable housing in Palm Bay?
Well, we got to look at the zoning. Okay. We need apartments. We need tiny homes. Councilman Kenny Johnson got that passed, and we need to see that develop. We also need the state of Florida has a grant program for nonprofits to develop affordable housing. We need to push that. They're doing it in Melbourne. Okay, they're doing it in Melbourne. We need to push that. We need to look at our regulations, our ordinance. The city council the city government has passed some measures already that's going to be able to create this affordable housing for people. You can't have a community that houses are 300, 400,000, and people who work in minimum wage jobs, they can't afford that. They can't afford that. They don't have the money and down payment to do that. They got to live somewhere. And it's more expensive right now to rent an apartment to get a house in Palm Bay, which is crazy. The houses are a lot cheaper than our apartment. And the people that can barely live in an apartment don't qualify or can't qualify for a loan to buy a house because you got to have a huge down payment, and that their income don't support that. So it's no magical policies or program. You got to look at the whole gamut and attack it piece by piece. But you gotta focus on different aspects of nonprofits and government and what you could do to bring that down. So it's no magical, I got this and it's going to work.
Okay. Let me ask you something, because there's something that I see going around on social media this week while I was researching to my questions to interview you. One of the things in the atmosphere is that you're for trailer parks. Is that a fact?
No. Well, here's the thing. Trailer parks, people live in trailer parks. Because you have a trailer park that bad. Let me go down to Barefoot Bay. You ever been to Barefoot Bay? Do you see any brick homes in Barefoot Bay?
No.
They're manufactured homes, right?
Yes, sir.
Is Barefoot Bay such a bad place to live? Why can't we have an area like that here in Palm Bay? Because it's cheaper. In Barefoot Bay, those who don't know about Barefoot Bay, most of the people living in Barefoot Bay are retired, they're seniors, and they're from up north. Okay, I spent a lot of time in Barefoot Bay when I ran for county, and they're nice homes. Okay, I'm not talking about when you say trailer park, it brings a bad
connotation.
Connotation. Okay, and which is wrong. Okay, I'm not saying Barefoot Bay is a trailer park. Okay, I'm saying Barefoot Bay got manufactured homes. They got them in West Melbourne. I forgot the name of that community because I went through there. So I'm talking about homes like Barefoot Bay. That's manufactured homes that you could develop in a certain part of Palm Bay that is a lot cheaper, and 3-4 bedroom homes, nice homes that people could live and not paying $1,200 a month in rent.
Tiny homes, will tiny homes not have this, produce the same effect? I mean, and would be aesthetically pleasing to the eye for those who looking for that kind of environment?
If I had to choose between a tiny home and a home like they have in Barefoot Bay, I'd choose Barefoot Bay any day of the week. It's a lot bigger, it's more room, and it looks like a home. So I'm talking about manufactured homes like that it looks decent. It's a nice community. You could barely tell if it's a home. Let me give you an example. People want to criticize what I said. Are you familiar with Palm Bay Colony?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there brick homes? Is that a trailer park? We got this is why people need to think about and look around what we have in the city, because I go all over the city and over the county. Palm Bay Colony is a nice place, and you got good people there, and they take pride in their homes. And it's for 55 up. Why not have something like that for everybody? Why not have a section in the city such as Palm Bay Colonies like that for people who need affordable housing? We got it right here, and we got it in Bedford Bay. We got it right here in the city. And and I don't call that a trailer park. I don't use that connotation as a negative. I think Palm Bay Colony is a nice place. I would even buy something there and live there. It's a nice place. It's safe. It's clean. The homes are pretty, and then people take care of them.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about rent control. I think on your website, I'm not sure if it's still there, you were in favor of rent control.
Yeah, I was in favor of it, but you can't do rent control in Florida. I found out, and to do that, you have to pass it through council. So if you can't do it in Florida, it's a moot issue to me. It was on my website. I removed it because you can't do it. I'm for following the laws of the state of Florida. So if the state legislature bans that, then we can't do it.
All right. What are your plans for rezoning in Palm Bay to expand affordable housing?
I'm planning to rezone.
What are your plans for rezoning in Palm Bay to expand affordable housing?
Well, first of all, I'm not gonna make a comment what area we're gonna zone on. I like for my advisory board to come up with some ideals and come up with a comp plan. We need a plan to look at the city and how we're going to develop the city. That was never done 60 years ago. That's why our city looks kind of crazy, and we got all these houses all over the place. When I say it looked kind of crazy, because it wasn't zone property. That's what I mean. It's not zone property. So I want the council to come up with me and 4 other people to come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan when it comes to zoning. And I could say X, Y, and Z, but if I can't get 4 of the people to go along with me, then it won't happen. So I want to put a team effort and get the best ideas on the table, not just my ideas. And I think we need to zone commercially. We need to zone our housing properly, and look at the area, because on the Northwest is already built out and it's continued to build out. The Southeast, not so much. The Northeast needs to pick up on polish it up. So we got 4 quadrant that looks totally different. The Southwest, with the development and everything, it's growing differently. So we got to look at it. We got to look what's best area that fits affordable housing, and then we got to look at the transportation, because most people in affordable housing probably don't have the means, a car, or they might not have the proper transportation to get to work. So we need to look at all of it. Let's take all
it along to another topic.
Okay.
Let's talk about we beat up in the debate. We talked about the campground issue. I lost you. What just happened?
No, I hear you.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. My thing just went away. My dashboard is back. Okay, so let's talk about the campground. Why do you feel so strongly? You came out strongly in favor of the campground. Tell me why. Why is that?
What do we have to attract people to Palm Bay? Okay, that's number one. Campers is like boaters. It's a society. Okay, and people own campers not to leave it parked in their garage on the side of their house. They own campers to go out and travel, to visit different places, to enjoy different places. We have an opportunity in Palm Bay. We have Fair Property Park is a beautiful park. It's a large park, and the growth in that area is going to explode with the Heritage Parkway, easy access off the I-95. It's a perfect place to have a campground, to have people with their RVs who's traveling across the world to come down to Florida and stop in Palm Bay and to hook up their campers for a week, a month, 6 months, and spend money in Palm Bay. I don't own a camper, but I looked at some campers. I've been in some, and they're very expensive. And people who have campers have money to spend. To travel, you got to have money, and they have money to spend. And that's going to bring a economical impact into Palm Bay that's going to be residual. Okay, and it's going to bring people to Palm Bay, and you might have people want to come live, work here. You might, and once they enjoy themselves, they're going to keep coming back and spending money in our economy. TDC saw that. They saw the vision.
Not to cut you off, because I want to get to the rest of the questions. But hypothetically speaking, we're in COVID times, and hypothetically speaking, say it doesn't work out. Say we don't attract the kind of community that we were hoping to get, the consumers to come in and really buy into this idea. What then? Where do we go from there? Because we build this thing and nobody shows up. I mean, we have no money to sustain it. What happens from there?
Well, it's the what if syndrome. Here's the thing. Campers are traveling, even during COVID. Is the Wickham Park campsite closed down now? And we are the epicenter of COVID right now. COVID travels from state to state. New York was the worst COVID hotspot back in March and April. And then it came to Florida. And it's going to move as we learn how to deal with this. COVID is just a temporary pandemic. It's not going to, the 1918 pandemic didn't last for 100 years. The economy came back, okay? And the economy is going to come back if we think differently. We build this thing, people going to come because we got an RV world right off Palm Bay Road.
Yeah,
right?
But to cut you though, Randy, I'm going to ask you one other thing before we move on to economic development. Do you think the location is the right? Do you think that's the right location for it? Because if you go down US1, you see those different places. Generally speaking, they're near the waterway where they can come out, go fishing, all that good stuff. Do you think that's the right location?
Yes, because it's off I-95. It's going to be off Heritage Parkway, I-95. And that area, like I said in my early statement, is going to develop. They're building houses right off Heritage Parkway. If you take that off 192, think about it. 192 and Heritage Parkway intersection, right? 192, if you go west, where's it going to take you to? Disney. Easy access to Disney. And if you have an RV, you got kids with you, and you might want to take your RV to go to Disney and come back and hook it up, still hook up to your plat. And I-95 is one of the busy intersections. US 1, nobody want to travel on US 1 and stop at every light. You would, especially with an RV and the gas prices. So that Heritage Parkway corridor is going to explode with restaurants and development. And the RV park right there could feed off that development area could feed off the RV park, the money that's going to bring.
Okay, awesome. Let's move on to economic development. We talked about that for a while. What plans do you have to create more jobs in the city of Palm Bay? How are you going to attract new businesses? What would you do, or what would you ensure that the city manager and those under her, her staff bring in, jobs into the area?
You gotta think different. What we're thinking now, it's not happening now. You agree? It's not happening now. What major industry did we have here other than Heritage Corporate L3 now? What I want to do is in the city government, look at hire someone who's going to be an advocate of attracting business, someone who could go out and talk to different businesses who are looking to move and relocate into Palm Bay. We have the what's called it, EDC. They do that. So I want to make sure that Palm Bay personnel is working with the EDC and also promoting Palm Bay. Advertisement is key. Okay, we have a lot to offer. We have the water, we have the weather, and we have the taxes, low taxes. And we have the workforce. We have the people ready for the jobs. And we have the college. We have Florida Institute of Technology. We have Eastern Florida State. Okay, so we have all the tools to do that. And we just got to be a good advocate. And I'm willing to be that advocate. But I want someone in city government that's working on that 24/7 and going out there across the country and selling Palm Bay to major corporations to get them here. Not just commercial business, restaurant, box stores, or in certain corridors of Palm Bay, but we need a company like L3 Harris. We need a company like that. It could be a defense contract. It could be a battery company. We need them right here in Palm Bay. So if Harris L3 decided to move or leave, then what would happen to Palm Bay? What would happen to the Melbourne area? It'd be devastating.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. They just completed a major headquarters down there.
Well, I say you don't think I didn't never think that we would be in a pandemic either.
Yeah.
I never thought the Twin Towers that was gonna get hit by American Airlines either. Things happen when we don't think, we don't prepare. And
That's true. Okay, let's move on. How will you support small businesses?
Well, one, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing a meet and greet at a small business restaurant in Palm Bay. I'm going to do once, if it's possible, to do meet and greets at different businesses across the city. I want to make sure we clear our permitting process. To get permits, it takes a long time to start off your business. I want to make sure that we streamline that process and make it quicker. If we got to hire somebody, an extra person to do that, if we got to change the way the permitting process is issued, I want to make sure our city manager focus on that. And I want to make sure it's easier and faster. You can start up a business quickly and Palm Bay. Just to get your roof done, it used to take a day. Now it takes 2 days just a roofer to come in to replace your roof, and it's costing them money. We got to clean up our.
You will make sure that the permitting processes, all those red tapes are going to be curtailed so that they can come in and set up shop quickly, right?
That's what my focus is going to be on. Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good to know. What types of incentives then will you provide to investors to encourage this economic development?
Well, what would we have in our toolbox? I can't tell you what one particular incentive, because each company is going to want something different. But I'm going to want something also. And my main thing is pay your taxes, hire people that live in Palm Bay, and give me a guaranteed written contract. So when that company violates the contract, violates our agreement, then we could go after them. So I don't want to say what tool in the toolbox I'm going to use, because I don't know what that company want. I'm not gonna just give things. I won't give things just away for free. We got to get a return on our investment, and if it's not a financial return that lowers the taxes in Palm Bay and that put money in Palm Bay resident pocket, then it's not a good deal for us. You get what you negotiate, not what you want.
Okay. You talked about that it's time for Palm Bay to become a sister city. What does that mean? What's a sister city?
A sister city is a city that you pair up with in the United States or outside of the United States. You share cultures, you share tourism. When I say share tourism, you travel to each other's city, economic impact, economic development, economic trade. Palm Bay is not a sister city of any city. Look up how many sister cities are in Miami. Look up how many sister cities in Orlando. Look up how many sister cities in Tampa. These places people travel to, okay? Foreign people travel to, and people in them locations travel to that sister city. We are the most diverse city in Palm Bay. We have people from different islands of the Caribbean and different ethnic group. We should be sister city with San Juan, Puerto Rico. We should be a sister city with Kingston, Jamaica. We should be a sister city with Nassau, Bahamas. We should be a sister city with Honolulu or New York or Chicago. Get people to travel from places where it's cold and where they want to come. And that's going to bring economic impact because they're going to fill the hotel beds. They're going to spend money. We're not a sister city. Cocoa has a sister city. Melbourne has a sister city. Palm Bay, none. You got to think different.
All right. Mr. Foster, we have come to the end of our interview. I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor to go ahead and tell the residents why is it you should be, the next councilman for City C3. And so I will give you the floor to do that. And thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Palm Bay. The city council seat is about service to the community of Palm Bay. And when you vote for that city council person to be on the city council, you are hiring that person for that job, okay? So this election is about who's best and who's more qualified for the position, or who got the experience in public safety and public service. I have that experience. I served the United States government for over 28 years. I served as a United States Marshal. I served in the military. I served on nonprofit boards. I served on the community as a auxiliary New York police officer. I served Palm Bay on a advisory board, Park and Recreation Infrastructure Library. I serve in different communities and throughout my career as a law enforcement officer, off duty. So no one in my race got the amount of government experience or leadership or service than Randy Foster. My opponent failed in that. I accomplished a lot of things in my lifetime, and I'm a hard worker, and I care. I put my life on the line in the military. I put my life on the line as a law enforcement officer to protect and serve. That's what I've been doing for over 28 years. And that's what I want to continue to do for Palm Bay. Serve honorably, with integrity, and the utmost of concern for you, your rights, your safety, your family. I could do that. I have the experience, and I have the education, and I have done that throughout my lifetime and throughout this country. And I spent, as a U.S. Marshal, even though I was in D.C. from retiring, I spent a lot of time in the state of Florida protecting you, and you didn't even know it. Going after criminals, going after fugitives, doing the Super Bowl in Jacksonville, recruiting future marshals. I did it all in the state of Florida. I kept coming out here, and this is the first place I came to retire and make my home. And I want to make this the best place to live, work, and play. Go to my website, look at my background, look at my years of service, and I did it honorably, and I retired from law enforcement. But I still have a lot more in me, and I want to make sure I do my best for you. So please, I ask for your vote. Go to voterandyfoster.com, learn more about me, and you could contact me through there. Thank you, and vote.
Thank you. Yes, do vote, and do remember that the deadline for registration is coming up. Make sure you register to vote. For those who are not registered to vote, you need to get registered to vote, and so you can vote for the candidate of your choice. I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you need to register to vote. So please get out there and do that, and make it a priority. You want to say something, sir?
No.
That's all your hand was up. Okay, so great. And then so make sure that you join me next week, Thursday night at 8 p.m. for a live interview with the mayor of Palm Bay. Mayor Capote will be joining me. That's going to be a live interview with the mayor of Palm Bay. Our mayor will be with us. That is going to be next week, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Please submit your questions to palmbaylive@gmail.com by Sunday. That will give me ample enough time to put the questions together, because I do have, unfortunately, a 9 to 5 that I have to do during the week. And next week is going to be a hectic week for me for work. So I need to make sure I get those questions in ahead of time so I can prepare my materials. So yes, please submit it to me. palmbaylive@gmail.com. palmbaylive@gmail.com is my email address that you should use to submit those questions to me. Again, thank you for joining me tonight, and to the audience on Next Door Neighbor, YouTube, and Instagram and all over. Thank you for joining me tonight on Facebook as well. Thank you for joining me tonight, and have yourself a great night and a great rest of the week, and enjoy the new weather that we have. It's getting ready to be a sweater wearing type of month, it looks like. So looking forward to that. Have yourself a great night, folks, and a great week. God bless. Good night.
Good night. Good night.